So hello and welcome to the Twitch. Dani Harrington, owner of Canalside Garden Centre. We're delighted to have you with us today, Dani.
Oh, thank you for having me, Sarah. It's lovely to see you as usual.
The first question we always like to ask our guests on the Twitch is, are you a true or honorary dabber?
Well, I would like to think of myself as a true dabber, but I was born at Leighton Hospital and also have very close connections with Crewe as well. So my family are both Crewe and Nantwich. I was raised in Wurliston, though, and have lived in Nantwich pretty much ever since I was 4 years old. So I would like to think yes, but
Maybe not quite true, but
not quite.
yeah.
I have had a small part of my early life was in Crewe as well, so we've got connections with both Crewe and Nantwich.
Yeah. But you've always lived in the local area.
Yes,
yeah.
I have. Yeah, apart from 1 year when I was I think about 17, 18, I moved to Surrey for a year, but we won't talk about that. My family are all from Wurliston, and if you've ever been to the pie shop in Wurliston, that is my grandma and my sister and my auntie and uncle and my great aunt. That's our family
shop.
Business. And my dad was born there in the house next to the shop. So the business, the bakery, Wurliston Pie Shop, or J Hulse as it's actually known as, most people know it as the Wurliston Pie Shop. It's been in our family since 1878.
Wow.
Which is incredible. So nearly coming up for 150 years,
yeah,
which is amazing. Yeah. My grandma still works there now. My sister works there as well.
And you worked there, presumably?
Yes, I did. Yeah. If you belong to my family, you all have to do a little stint at the pie shop. So you start off, and we first started when my great nana was alive, Mrs. And you do her brasses at first. You have to go and clean the brass, and then you're promoted to being able to do the dishes, and then you can cut out the pie cases, and then maybe the crosses on the hot cross buns. And then I used to prefer working in the shop, so a lot of people probably recognise me from making sandwiches in the back.
Yeah. But what a way to instill a great work ethic from a young age. You all had to contribute towards the family business.
Yeah, we've all had to do our time there, which we all enjoy.
So then, on to what you're doing now with Canalside Garden Centre. Would you like to talk to us about your journey into gardening and where did your passion start? How did that all begin, Dani?
So I suppose I've always really worked part-time around my children, worked at the family shop for a while, and I've always been a keen gardener. When we lived at the bungalow, we did lots of container gardening. And we grew loads of vegetables. And I always say that I think that vegetables are a gateway drug to gardening. It all starts with a couple of tomatoes, some cucumbers, and maybe a few strawberries. So I did container gardening, and I used to do lots of recycled containers. And it was only quite a small garden. And I've always been quite crafty. So I'd always be making jams or chutneys from the things that we grew. And I remember 1 year growing some cucumbers and they tasted absolutely foul. So it's certainly not come easy for me. No. I've certainly had to try at gardening. And then we moved to a different house and we had a cottage garden and that was lovely. Yeah. And we always used to sort of try and battle it out with a neighbour for who had the nicest garden. And I think it was always us, but you know.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, it was. So we did that as well. And I was pregnant with my youngest child, so I've got 4 children, and I decided that I'd been growing all these flowers and I really didn't know what to do with them. And I wanted to be able to make really nice floral arrangements. And I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to retrain and I'm going to do floristry. So that led me to go to Wreath and do a floristry course. And I absolutely loved it. I was bitten by the bug and just enjoyed making things, you know, with flowers and the gardening as well that involved, because I would also try and grow my own to take into class. And it sort of snowballed from there, really. And then I applied for a job that I found on Facebook at a florist in Crewe, a Bluebells florist, and I worked with Julie and Sophie there, and they are 2 amazingly talented ladies. So I worked there for a bit, helping them out. And then, as luck would have it, you know, the business premises came up for sale, Canalside. So, you know, all I'd been doing in the meantime was tending to our new garden, which was now an acre. And during COVID, we did a house up and we did the garden. And randomly, my other half, John, he really likes to see what properties are on the market. You know, it's a bit of he doesn't do social media, but he does scroll on Rightmove. So we'd seen the property come up at Canalside, and we'd been over the years so many times, and we always thought it was wonderful. We loved it. We loved the location, and it's in Wrenbury, if you know where that is. And I phoned the estate agent and they said, actually, we're there right now. Can you come? And I said, oh, we're only 10 minutes away. So we packed the kids up into the car and we went to go and view the property. And, you know, we hadn't planned this. I suppose we talked in the back of our minds this far-fetched dream of both working together in horticulture eventually as a sort of retirement plan end goal to both of our sort of careers. And it came up. And although it wasn't really at the right time for us, because my youngest daughter was still quite young at the time, we spoke to each other when we got back and we just said, should we put an offer in? And both of us said yes. We knew it wasn't the right time for us, but we knew we would have been absolutely gutted to see somebody else own it.
Sometimes you just have to go for it, don't you?
So although it was our plan eventually in the future, a business similar, we sort of also jumped into it head first as well with no real plan. So it took a while for the sale of the property to go through. So if anyone's been there before, it's been a nursery since around 1990. Used to specialise in fuchsias, and I think it had changed hands a couple of times over the years, and we decided that we'd like to start growing plants again there. So my John, being the type of chap he is, he wanted to knock everything down and start again, but I said to him, look, you know, we've never ran this type of business. We'll have to, you know, learn the job, you know, whilst we're doing it. You know,
which is often the way and often the best way to do it, because you don't always know what you're buying, do you, when you
So the funny thing is we got the keys on the Monday, the sale went through, we nipped up there in the evening to, you know, sort of see what we'd bought. I went to the wholesalers on the Tuesday and we opened the business on the Wednesday.
That's quite incredible.
I think it was at that point I thought, oh Lord, what have we done, you know?
Well, if I can just interject there, just to put this in some context, Dani, you do have 4 children, you and John, and John also has a very busy job himself. He runs his own business. You've got very busy lives anyway. So yes,
I feel like we were ready for another project. And this to us it's not just a business, is it? It's a lifestyle. It's something that, you know, hopefully in the future John will be able to come and work with me there. You know, it's jobs for our children. I've got teenage children that help out at the weekends at the moment. And my little boy as well loves to come and help me mow. So it's not a job. It's not a business. It is a lifestyle as well.
It's a lovely way to look at it. I think that must give you a lot of joy in looking at it that way.
And I think to see, I suppose, how far we've come as being able to have mains electricity for one was huge, and a septic tank with toilets. We've had some real wins in building the cafe. And when those shipping containers arrived, one extremely rainy October, and the wagons all got stuck in the mud and we were expecting customers. So I looked around it last week or whenever and I thought, bloody hell, I can't believe we've done that, you know. And
you've done a lot, because was it 2023?
Yes, it was 2023 that the sale went
in the
through.
Summer,
and then we kept it as it was, just learning the ropes, learning who was coming, who wasn't coming, what people were asking for, and we really, I suppose, the most important thing that we have done is put the infrastructure into the back now for growing plants. And it's been such a journey figuring out what kind of plants I want to grow. We specialise in perennials, lots of cottage garden plants, but I think most importantly is that we grow plants there that are going to thrive where we live, you know, in Nantwich and the surrounding towns and areas. So that's really important to me, that actually the plants that we grow are going to live where we live.
Which, I mean, I think that's you're being very true to your customers there by selling things that you know will survive and that they can perhaps look after more easily than some of the other plants they might buy elsewhere.
There's nothing worse when you go to a garden centre and you buy something that's absolutely beautiful and you take it home. And it's perhaps not hardy,
No.
or it's been brought on a little bit too early. So I can assure you, we're never early. We're probably a bit late.
No, that's good. It's good to know, and I know I know it's your particular passion. We will talk more about the business because you do more than just grow plants, but the core of growing plants, and particularly the perennials, is where your passion really lies, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
It's going back to the growing, planting the seeds, and nurturing something and seeing it grow.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. I think the first year we were in business, I sort of tried to please everybody and get a bit of everything in for everybody. But really, the longer we're there, the more we're sort of honing in on what we are good at. Don't get me wrong, you can still come and find hanging basket or, some bedding plants in the summer, or maybe some fancy pansies.
Which you haven't grown necessarily.
Well, to be fair, I have grown the pansies this
Oh,
time,
have
which
you?
is very exciting.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I've got some really unusual varieties of them.
Yeah.
So, yes, actually, getting into our niche and learning what we're good at has been the most exciting part of all, really.
Yeah, and it always takes time with a new business to work out what you want to do and what your clients want.
Yeah, exactly. It's been, learning to say no for me is quite difficult because I like to please everybody and do everything. But actually, what I'd like to do and like to be renowned for growing exceptionally hardy plants that not only flower for long periods of time and they thrive in gardens where my customers are, which are, on the whole, relatively local.
Yeah. And on that note, you do offer advice, don't you, for your customers? Obviously, sort of casual advice when they are just walking around the garden centre and wanting to buy plants, but you do offer a 25-minute consultation, which is very much tailored to their particular space. Undivided attention for 25 minutes.
That's it. I mean, the reason why I added the garden consultations onto the website is because so often people are coming in and they just need a little bit of help. Now, I don't offer any help with any hard landscaping ideas at all, because my speciality really is in planting structures in the garden, planting scheme, where they're going, what needs to go where, and just how to improve what you've got already. So quite often, people don't have the budget for a garden designer. That's not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is just make people's gardens that bit better. It helps people to buy better. And it really does show you that you can garden for 10 years and do the same thing over and over again without really achieving any better results. But hopefully, with a little bit of advice, a little push in the right direction, perhaps a different perspective. It's always nice to look at something with fresh eyes as well.
Definitely.
That you can achieve a beautiful garden.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really useful offer to,
I think it's quite
your customers.
Unique as well, isn't it? I think there's so many people that enjoy going to garden centres, buying coffee and things like that. But I think something, you don't necessarily get everywhere is that tailored advice.
No.
And by having the consultations that people can actually book via the website or via email means that I can guarantee I have got a bit of time for them and we can just get a time that works for everybody. So people are really getting sort of a personalised service as well.
Yeah.
And it is chargeable. We do charge for the consultation, which is about £35. But what they can do with that is if you spend it on the plants, it's just deducted off what you buy anyway.
Which is great. Yeah.
What I'm doing is just trying to encourage people to buy the right plants for their garden.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that, Dani. Yes, that sounds really interesting for anybody that wants to find out more about what's suitable for their particular garden. Gets to go down to Canalside and get some good advice from the team. Great team down there. So that's the plants. That's obviously the core of the business. We know you've got the wonderful cafe, which if anyone hasn't been, it's super. It's all glass.
It is glorious,
and it sits
isn't it?
right
You can sit outside and watch the boats go past.
Yeah.
And on a sunny day, I don't think there's anywhere nicer,
No,
which is,
lovely.
so unique to us. And it's, you've got the big lift bridge that's a huge conversation piece as well.
It really is ideal.
So, beautiful. And I think that's when we see it, and it just makes us think, oh, how lucky we are to be here. Lucky to work there and just lucky to be there. So, and it's so nice that I think we've created a place where people also really like to come. It makes them happy, you know, when you're outside and you feel sort of immersed in nature. You can have a coffee, you can have a tea, hot chocolate cake, full English breakfast.
Watch the boats go by. Couldn't be any better.
It's absolutely peaceful.
Yeah.
If I like to do that on my day off, surely everybody else would like to come and do that on their day off, because not only do I run the garden centre, I like to go to other places and have cake and coffee and buy a few plants from everyone else as well. So.
Absolutely. And you do, and lots of other things are happening down at Canalside as well.
What else are we doing?
Always, well, we have our wonderful, and I do have to declare that I do work with Dani down at Canalside.
Sara helps me out. She keeps me in check, and she helps me with my floristry classes as well.
Yes.
So
we do floristry classes together. We do some floristry workshops, don't we? Particularly at Christmas.
Wreath making, Christmas table centerpiece.
We did a Mother's Day.
Floral arrangement, spring living wreath.
Yeah.
I'm doing one soon. Okay. And we also do a hanging basket workshop where you can come and choose exactly what plants you want and get some tuition and drink tea and coffee and go home with a beautiful hanging basket. Or if you want me to look after it for a bit longer until after the frost, then yes, I'll do that as well. So
and there've been other workshops as well that people have been delivering workshops within your
we have
purpose-built beautiful Canalside workshop. You've done
a lovely lady that rents out the space and does some art classes. So we're always looking for collaborations with local people that can rent the space.
So you do some willow weaving.
We did the willow obelisks as well. And if anyone didn't manage to come to the willow class, we've also got some of our beautiful handmade willow obelisks for sale. We've also done a fine dining night at the cafe. So there's always something going on. There's always something on the website to go and have a browse through and book. And also our new event, which is the Women in Floriculture networking group. And I run a networking group for women in the area that... Lots of gardeners, flower farmers, people that have got an interest in horticulture, that work in horticulture, or maybe want to work in horticulture. We have a bi-monthly meeting where we all get together and one of us does a little talk and then we just drink tea and coffee. And I think the most wonderful thing about that is all of the connections that we make with each other. So,
it's a wonderful group, actually, to meet.
It's so special.
Yeah, to meet like-minded women who are all in the same industry and, you know, share challenges and problems as well as tips and, you know,
it's lovely. I've certainly learned lots from it. Like I was growing my pumpkins wrong and stuff like that. So it's nice, and that's led to opportunities for our members as well. Yeah. You know, have somebody that's volunteering with us to get themselves back into horticulture. Yeah. No, it's always, I think it always feels very exciting when you're there. There's always something that's going on. And we've got the pumpkin patch and the spooky walk in autumn, which is lovely to welcome a few more families to Canalside as well, because it feels quite grown up for most of the year. And then it's just these few events that we have.
I was actually going to come on to ask you about your connections with the community, because you see it as being a community hub, really, don't you, in a sense?
Yeah,
you know,
I do. I think I've always liked to be involved with our wider community. And, you know, I was the chair of my children's PTA when they were younger, when my older girls were younger, and that was at Highfield School, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. And it just really lit something inside me that, you know, it's nice to do these things. It's nice to be involved, you know, being involved with the horticultural section at Nantwich Show this year, which is so exciting, and helping sort of fundraise for the community garden in Nantwich, which is so close to our hearts. It's such a lovely place to go if you've not been, to go and support them.
It's a wonderful space.
Yeah, the community garden's amazing.
The Growing Health community garden.
All the people there are amazing as well. So it's wonderful to have those close links with them. We also... we accept.
Have you had the local schools come and visit as well?
Yes. We're available for any local schools that want a low-cost sort of school trip to come and do a little talk and talk about growing and go for a little walk around our little wooded area as well. Yeah. What else? There must be loads more. I can't remember.
Sure there is. There's so much going on.
Summer garden party last year for the community garden, and I'd like to do another one in the future. So we'll have to come up with a date for that one.
Yes, which was a wonderful wonderful day, a wonderful way to showcase Canalside. So always lots going on down at Canalside Garden Centre. So Dani, what are the plans for the future? What have you got planned for that? Because you've done a lot in 3 years.
Too many plans for the
I know
future.
that you don't stand still for very long. So what are your priorities over the next year or two, would you say, for the garden centre?
We've still got a lot of work to do. We are hopefully going to build a little shop there, which will complement what we sell already. I've got sort of a strict line on no plastic tats. I'm hoping that the gifts that we'll be able to sell will be horticultural, botanical, sustainable gifts. So I think, what would somebody buy me as a present? And hopefully you'll find it there. I don't want to sell things that you can buy at B&M or Home and Bargains, because I probably can't sell them cheaper because I just don't have the buying power. So I think that the uniqueness of Canalside needs to have something that's a little bit different. So I'm hoping that will go through. And I think eventually I'd love to be able to sell online, to create a following of people online, giving out garden advice, and be able to sell plants online in the very distant future. What else?
You're growing, aren't you? Growing flowers.
Growing
So,
crops, yes. I need to get the sweet peas in this week, actually. The jobs keep mounting up and there's just not enough time in the day. So, yes, a cut flower patch, which is going to complement our floristry classes.
So what are you growing? What flowers are you growing there?
What am I not growing? I got really enthusiastic in the autumn and I sowed everything. So I do have a heck of a lot of plants ready to go in the ground, but just no time to put them in. So I've got lots of perennials that are going to go in. I've got some peonies that are going in. They won't be ready to cut for a couple of years, but the best time to plant them is now, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to focus on the perennials this year to let them grow. And then hopefully next year there'll be flowers everywhere.
Yeah,
It'll be
wonderful.
brilliant. And then what we can do is invite people to come. We'll do a talk on the flowers, how we're growing them. And then we can make some masterpieces, make some beautiful floral arrangements or flower crowns.
Yeah. That'll be so satisfying, just going out and cutting flowers that you've grown on the.
We'll have to have a little
land.
photo shoot, Sarah, and get some floral dresses on and pretend it's really idyllic.
Skip through
flowers.
the field with our
and
baskets.
then people won't understand all of the mud that's it's taken to get to that point. I think that's a big misconception, though, isn't it? When you work with flowers and plants, that it's wonderful. I'd love to do it. Oh my goodness, is it hard work? Yeah,
very hard work.
It is, and I think a lot of the work is done, in the terrible weather. You think, in how cold it is, and you're outside sowing your little seeds.
But worth it in the end.
It is, and I think when you see it in the summer, and you just think, this is what we do it for, isn't it? And
absolutely.
You see your own garden in the summer; it's the same, isn't it? And you think, this is what we do it for. All this hard work.
I was going to ask you about your own garden, actually, because I imagine it's absolutely beautiful and.
Well, you
well
would
tended.
think that my garden is absolutely beautiful. We're getting there. Front border, 10 out of 10, you'd go, she owns a garden centre. You start to make your way towards the back and you get a bit less enthusiastic by that point. We're having some work in the garden done at the minute.
Yeah.
So my personal goals as a gardener, a home gardener, are to eventually open up our garden for, the National Garden Scheme would be a goal for me.
Wouldn't it? It'd be amazing.
But we've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of work to do. I've got a little allotment at the back of my garden where me and the children grow some vegetables and I grow some flowers there. Most of the borders in my garden are for cutting as well. So there's always a heavy lean onto what looks nice in a vase. But there are still some scruffy areas. Our garden had been very overgrown. We're just under an acre at home. And it was an orchard. So when we initially did the garden during COVID, we did it. We made that mistake that most gardeners make, that I should know better, really. We did it all in sort of July and August. So you can imagine in July and August it looks fabulous. So the rest of the year it's pretty sparse. So I am actually changing things around a little bit this year. I've got a few,
takes time, doesn't it?
projects, and the dog keeps digging to the bottom of the raised borders at the back.
It always takes time with a new garden, but it's lovely that you've started from scratch. So you've built it how you want it, you want it to be.
I think that's it, though. Sometimes with gardening and in life, it's not the destination; it's the journey, isn't it? It's the journey of doing the gardening, which is fun. Although having a beautiful garden's wonderful, but it's working towards it. That's where you get the joy.
Yeah,
it is. It's
absolutely.
not always the destination, it's the journey.
That's very, very true.
Yeah, definitely.
So this summer, I know you've got a busy summer planned with plant hunters fairs and things like that.
Oh,
You're
yes,
out and about all over the
yeah.
place, aren't you?
We are. We've got plant hunters fairs here, there and everywhere. Cholmondeley, Dorothy Clive, Podnet, Barley Hall, Gapesthorne.
Yeah.
Selling our plants, which is amazing. If you've never been to a plant hunters fair before, it's, there's an entry fee to get in. You get to have a look around the gardens, and it's usually a little bit cheaper. And then you get access to all of us independent growers. And the wonderful thing about buying your plants from plant hunters, you're supporting small businesses. You're also buying your plants off the people that grow them, that are the most knowledgeable as well. And I can't help it because I always come back with some plants as well in the van for me because I'm just obsessed. So that's wonderful. And then we've got the Arley Hall Garden Festival, which is super exciting. And that is the last weekend in June. And we have got our first Canalside Garden Centre show garden.
Wow.
So I can't take all the credit for it because, like with most things at Canalside, it's a collaborative effort between all of us.
Which is the best way, isn't it? It's a good team.
It is. It's wonderful. So what we're doing is we have got a stall there where we're selling plants and meeting new people. We have got a show garden, and I came up with the concept of it on the spot, really. There wasn't much thought into it because I needed an idea quickly. So I decided to make the show garden a very simple garden. I'm not trying to do anything dramatic or out of the ordinary. I'm trying to show you with a really limited sort of palette of plants on a relatively small budget, you can make a beautiful garden.
What a great idea, because people can do it themselves, can't they?
I'm
hoping
it's quite a modern sort of concept of gardening. I'd say it's a modern meadow / cottage garden. So lots of grasses, lots of plants repeated throughout. And to be honest, my plants list is going to evolve because it's going to be what looks nice that week, really. Yeah. So it's an evolution. It's exciting because I've never done one before. A little bit nerve-wracking, but we've got a great team and we've marked it out already. We're growing the plants like mad, and I've never grown for a show garden before. So
how big is it, Dani?
It is 10 metres by 4 metres.
Okay.
And I've actually marked it out at work at the back, but I can't show anybody. It's top secret. And then if I like it, I'm going to bring it back to Canalside and replant it. So only if I'm happy with it, you'll be able to come and sit in the garden that we've designed.
I'm sure it'll be wonderful.
Yes, I've got to find a spot for it. So I'm hoping, let's say we do a show garden every year, we can have a huge garden there for everyone to come and have a look through. In 10 years' time, the field being a series of little show gardens added together. It'll probably, start off quite terrible, and but in the end of 10 years, I'll probably be quite good at it. So you'll be able to see
the journey, the show garden. I'm sure they'll all be wonderful from day one.
It's exciting anyway. And I always think Jill, who helps us out at Canalside, she always says, nothing from nature is horrible.
It's true.
And I think it is true.
Yeah, it's true.
It really is true. So
that's a really good way to think about it.
I think if it grows from the ground and it's a natural thing, it can't be horrible.
Not at all. And I think probably, Dani, that's a good point for us to wrap this up. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Although I will probably see you in the next couple of days.
I'll see you tomorrow. But no, you don't often get a chance just to sit down and talk through. You never get a chance to really sit down and talk through and your particular journey about how you got to Canalside, and it's been a real treat.
It's funny because I didn't realise you didn't know that me and John just bought it on a whim.
No idea. But sometimes that's just what you have to do. Seize the moment.
That's it. I think we'd really regret it if we didn't do it. So I think, yes. Am I pleased we've done it? Yes. I am. It's hard work. Yes.
Yeah.
But when you look around, you think, oh, it's worth it.
And it's a place you love to be.
Oh, it is.
Which is
and
wonderful.
Hopefully we'll be there for a very long time.
So thanks for joining us on the Twitch. I can't recommend Canalside Garden Centre highly enough for everybody to go down and have a look around and have a cup of coffee and a piece of cake sat by the canal. It's absolutely delightful. So thanks, Dani.
Thank you.
1